Well, jobless, almost basically homeless, and I needed a secure place to be around people, to get something to eat, and to get a little bit of guidance and help.
Enjoy your lunch. Happy holiday.
It's noon at the Holy Apostle Soup Kitchen in Chelsea, a New York landmark to God that serves the poorest of the poor right here in Midtown Manhattan, the heartland of money. In the nave of the church is a black Yamaha piano that you would call grand if it weren't overshadowed by a huge pipe organ straight out of a Victor Hugo novel. A soup kitchen in an inner city, not unusual. A soup kitchen with a grand piano, somewhat unusual. A soup kitchen where they ask you to audition to play, only in New York. The reason for the auditions is simple. In affluent Chelsea, with volunteers of all ages and backgrounds, everyone knows someone who can play. As well as the professional musicians who give their time for free, there are lifelong players, music teachers, wedding performers, and retired veterans with time on their hands. Among the pianists is Scott CROLY. Unlike many of the other players, Scott doesn't have a piano at home because he doesn't have a home. A former cab and truck driver, he was priced out of his apartment and lost his last regular job a year ago. He found out about the soup kitchen while staying in a nearby flophouse, came here to eat, and saw they were looking for players.
I love playing. I'm passionate about music. I love sound, and I find the people here very receptive and a wonderful, amazing audience.
He's been around a few corners, and he played with a couple of small bands probably. He's way overdue. People applause way in the back, by the door, by the entrance.
Scott is luckier than many here. He has a roof over his head after moving in with his girlfriend. But after a lifetime moving from city to city and job to job, the prospect of regular food and familiar music both seem powerful magnets to a man who concedes that his do anything, try everything philosophy has brought him 61 years of travel and travails. Is this the first time you ever found yourself using a soup kitchen?
I can't say that it is.
I would have to say I'm kind of a free spirit and a free thinker to an extent, and things didn't, well, you know, I have a high degree of education, 3 academic degrees, but I guess I was never really cut out for, you know, inside white-collar work. I ended up driving a cab, I've driven trucks. I was a sailor in the Merchant Marine, Navy MSc briefly. I do have to insert this. There is an old expression, from shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. I think I'm the 3rd. I think the bank cycles and market cycles, not to get too political or socioeconomic, tend to apply a little bit there.
At this soup kitchen, Scott is both guest, they insist on calling the diners guests, and volunteer, a crossover that the church's rector is more than happy with.
Well, you know, we serve over 1,200 people every weekday, and I think there's a great danger sometimes of thinking the sort of the haves and the have-nots, you know, people who have the means and help other people that don't have things. And I look at Scott and a lot of people who have great gifts, it's not just us providing for other people, it's helping other people kind of recognize and lift up the gifts that they have.
You wouldn't mistake Holy Apostles for Carnegie Hall. That's 4 stops north on the C train, but the refreshments here are free.
Faster?
And show business does come calling. Each month ARBENDER Robinson brings some of his Broadway colleagues to entertain, for free.
And college's hunger in the city sun. Your papa was a rolling stone. Where he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left me. Yeah, brother, right here. Yeah. Come on, help me sing this, brother.
In the appreciative audience is Scott, an onlooker at this performance.
Today, the prices, particularly for shelter, are so high that you're seeing, I've never in my life anyway, seen the degree or the numbers of homeless that you have now, almost like orphans. It's almost as if they literally have been exiled from the system.
What's terrible is the fact that we still have to be here. We started 30 years ago as a temporary solution to a temporary problem. No one thought that we would be here 30 years later. So in one sense, it's wonderful we're here, but it's also terrible that we need to be here.
Inside the church, Scott is practicing again. In music at least, he seems to find structure, certainty, and order.
I'm always happy in front of a piano. There's nothing like music, it's just beautiful. Can't beat it. It's the spirit, the good Lord himself, and all of humanity and intelligence and discovery is right here in a piano keyboard. You have to have a society or you have nothing. You'd be real surprised, man. Things can flip on you real quick in life.